So, Jacob, first thing I want to say is this visit happening this early into Trump's reign, and I will call it a reign, is it premature, first thing? Because it happened in the context of after the Oval Office bust-up with Trump and Zelensky, Starmer went over there. It seemed like he was shitting himself that Trump was going to mug him off in public. And look, let's be fair to him, probably wanted to put sort of smooth out the waters a little bit. So within seconds, he's gone, I've got a letter from the king. And he just pulls it out straight away. On reflection, given all the international challenges, should he have just kept that up his sleeve a little bit longer? Because this is so early. What have we got after this to bribe Trump with?
But this is Starmer's thing. He's overly eager with stuff like this all the time. He's the word that my mates from home would use. He's beggy. Starmer's a beggy guy, isn't he? And I think, especially when you get someone like Trump, who I think can be a bit of a bully sometimes and enjoys that sort of power dynamic, the more you beg to him, the less he's going to come to you. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like he's played all of his cards too early. He also had that embarrassing interaction where Trump started calling out Sadiq Khan last time in front of him. And he's, that's my friend, actually. No, please.
Don't actually talk about a friend of mine. To be honest, even that I thought was more than I expected Starmer to do. Even that. I thought he'd just sit there and act like he got an email that he had to read and gone, what's been happening for the last couple of minutes? I zoned out a little bit.
There's a little bit of him where he's like, well, I do kind of have to back Sadiq a little bit, but I have to try and do it in a friendly way. And then that went embarrassingly wrong.
I mean, they're going to Windsor Castle. They're going to Windsor Castle for the visit. Even that, in a way, seems strategic because if you're Buckingham Palace, you're centre of London, there's probably going to be a lot more protests. Whereas a part of the modern protest crowd, I feel like if they can't get there on their oyster crowd, they ain't going, right? And Windsor Castle is a ball ache to get to.
And none of them are there. You don't get blue-haired people with placards living in places like Windsor. Do you know what I mean? There's no branch of London School of Art out there. There's no reason for them to be there. It's too expensive on the oyster, as you say. Trains backs are difficult.
You've got to walk up a hill.
You got to walk up a hill
to the castle.
I've been to protests before to impress girls, and let me tell you now, you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything that's tiring or difficult. You're doing things that are easy, and there's potential for train beers on the way home. And I reckon they've looked at that train line. It's not happening.
And you're adjacent to a nearby Five Guys. That's all the protest crowd asks. I mean, I did wonder, about how Willie, because he's so thin-skinned, Trump, right? He genuinely, bless him, he does get genuinely upset when people don't like it fucking hurts the man. So if there is a protest, and God knows how they'd do it, I don't know, there might be some drones, there's going to be something that's going to happen, probably more than one thing. How that is the moment of key peril for Starmer, isn't it? Because he will then shoot from the hip. He'll start saying, you got some bad people in this country here, bad people, nasty. Now I said to you, you got to do a better job. Maybe deport them to the island. He'll just come up with some old shit. And that is the moment, I think, of extreme peril, right? Is if there is protest, how does Trump react and how does Starmer react to the reaction?
Well, this is the thing, and I think Starmer will be trying to sort of tell off the people that are protesting, and it will feel like a substitute teacher who's being embarrassed in front of the headmaster. Do you know what I mean? The headmaster's come in, the substitute teacher clearly doesn't have control of anyone, and they start shrieking and shouting and threatening punishments that everyone knows aren't going to happen. Someone's going to go to jail for a tweet again, and before you know it,
they will. There'll be one of those. Jesus Christ! I mean,
I reckon she'll be in the jungle this year. That woman who went to jail for a tweet.
Who, Lucy Connolly?
That's if I'm the bookers for I'm a Celeb, I'm sticking her in the jungle.
Yeah, because there has been a recent history on reality shows of putting figures from the cultural or political right into reality shows. So we had Nigel Farage, we had Matt Hancock, we got Thomas Skinner on Strictly, right?
Well, so just hanging on by a thread, Skinner, because he's had, bless him, he's had all of the affair stuff came out over the weekend and indeed today.
I mean, that is quite an achievement for an affair to come out before Strictly. Normally with Strictly, it's kind of week 4 of grinding up against each other doing the Paso Doble, where you get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
The other potential flashpoint is with the king himself, right? Because the king, quite lefty, talks to the plants. We know this about him, right? He doesn't like buildings. Yeah. I'm sort of summarising to a large degree here, but he's seen to be on the sort of progressive left, maybe in that old kind of like 1970s type way. I'd say he likes a drink. I mean, just looking at the skin, the redness of face,
the fingers are a giveaway. That's a drinker's hand.
Yeah, he looks like he likes a drink. So I'm just wondering. I mean, I think Trump will be reasonably deferential. What if the flashpoint comes from Charlie himself? That he just goes, oh, fuck off. Just like there'll be some point in the dinner. Because I know somebody that did a bit of work with the king and said, like, a bit like Trump, doesn't like being contradicted and sees himself as knowledgeable. So what if the king just kind of like, there's a point made about vaccine or something, and the king.
His thing is a green thing, isn't it? Sort of what you're getting to with the progressive left stuff. I do think he might have said some kind of racist comment in the past that was picked up. So I'm not sure he's the uber leftist that Zach Polanski might.
Oh, so they could bond over that kind of stuff.
This is it. They could bond over racism, but it's as soon as they start talking about trees and plants and deforestation that they're going to fall out with one another.
It's so funny when you think about the prep for these events. It must go right down to the granular to like, and we think we've had a chat in the team here. We think areas to stay away from include windmills and blue hair. We just don't discuss blue hair or windmills. Everything else is play. A lot of complimenting of each other's wives. I mean, that is the thing. They are that Trump and the king where they compliment each other's wives because they think that's like a really kind thing to do.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're of that age. They're of that age where the fact that neither of them is a widow yet is something to compliment. Do you know what I mean? You've still got yours. I've still got mine. We're both holding on to them. We're clearly looking after them. That's.
I mean, Trump did slightly help that by going about 40 years younger, but
yeah, true.
Strategic. I mean, just one final thing of this is with Starmer. I wonder. This is where I have some empathy with. Well, quite a lot with people in politics. In the week leading up to this, right? I mean, he's got loads of shit going on with Mandelson, which we'll come to in a minute. How do you sleep at all in the week leading up to this? It's not just like one moment where you got to press flesh and grin for the cameras before like a summit or something. It's like a few days of having like a house visit from the most volatile family member you can imagine. I mean, do you think Starmer's been having dreams about like Trump bouncing him on his knee in 4 years? It's
the volatility, isn't it? This is the thing. He must be looking at like previous prime ministers and going, "You had it so lucky in comparison." Yeah. Biden turns up, he's barely awake. You know what I mean? He's like, no one was worried about Biden. It's like he'll smile at the right time. They'll wake him up for the photographs. The rest of the time, it's groovy. He's got someone who could say anything.
Could say anything. I mean, David Cameron had Obama. Flipping burgers with Obama had to be sort of like the apex. Bill Clinton come over and,
Even Bush. Bush, it's easy enough. Play a bit of golf with him. You know what I mean? It's not hard. Just keep him sweet. You agree that you're going to do whatever he wants with Iraq. It's sweet. This could go anywhere. This could, you got no idea which way Trump might go.
Yeah. On that note, it's Monday a day. There's something tells me that I'll be doing another podcast later this week. Okay, we're going to talk a bit about Mandelson. So just a recap of where we're at with that. Stuff starts swirling on Tuesday. Mandelson gives an interview with Harry Cole of The Sun to get out ahead of it. I think that's always a sign that something's going wrong there. If someone's like said, can we do an interview? Can I tell you stuff? Wednesday at PMQs, Badenoch really put Starmer in a corner. Did you watch any of that PMQs, by the way, Jacob?
I saw clips of that, and I have to say, I'm starting to really respect Kemi with stuff like that. I think she's really good with stuff like that.
She should do it more often. I mean, what she did was she stayed on one subject, and she got him so spun around that at one point he asked her why she didn't ask him more questions about Angela Rayner last week, where you just thought, geezer's fucking shot. Like, as the youngsters would say, he's cooked. So then on Thursday, these emails come out. And I would urge people to read them. They're creepy as fuck, these emails between Mandelson and Epstein. Now, if I think I've got this right, a lot of the perception now is that these happened when everything was known about Epstein. But things came out bit by bit. I think at the time that these emails happened, he was just a convicted sex offender. That's all we're talking about here. He was only a paedophile then. This is before he was an international sex trafficker. And they include a variety of things like Mandelson encourages him to fight for early release, and Mandelson stayed at his flat. They tried to get him to help him broker a business deal in 2010. And so Starmer is under that kind of pressure that no politician wants, which is what did you know and when did you know it sort of thing. I think another question, though, is how did they ever appoint the guy, right? At the point where it was in the public domain, it was that Mandelson continued to be friends with Epstein after he was a paedophile, basically, a convicted paedophile. that was like, well, that's out there now. We've had that discussion, and he still gets brought into government. That's my issue. Is to forget like whether all the other stuff was known. How the fuck does that guy get back into public life?
Well, so they sort of sent, is it Peter Kyle, the business secretary, got sent round at the weekend, didn't he, to answer the questions?
That guy.
Well, yeah, I know, but they're running out of people, aren't they?
Yeah.
Angela Rayner's gone. Who'd you send? No one wants to do it. Do you know what I mean? David Lammy's calling that one in sick. No one wants to have to go out and back this. But
yeah, do you reckon the Lammy did it like really snipey? Or maybe send your deputy.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm just a deputy. Send out Peter Kyle.
No, I know. I'm clearly not important enough to be sent out to defend you on being pals with the pedo guy. Peter Kyle's whole thing over the weekend, he kept saying he had singular skills, Mandelson. He had singular skills. No one else can do what this guy can do. They're talking about him like he's a set piece specialist. Do you know what I mean? It sounds like Rory Delap. It's like, look, he's got a long throw. No one else can deliver a ball into the box like that. You might not like him defensively, but look, he's going to give us something no one else can give us. And they didn't really press him on it. They were like, what's he done? What are these special skills? And the main thing he came out with was like, look, our relationship with America was really bad. And then Mandelson came in and it's improved. And you go, has it? Like, again.
Or was it is the other question, because everyone said that Karen Pierce, who was in the job before, was really good. So you've let someone go who by the way, whose nickname was the Trump Whisperer.
This is it, yeah.
It's like you've let Declan Rice go for being good at free kicks to bring in Rory Delap, who's good at long throws.
This is, yeah. I mean, it is quite funny that you got rid of like someone who was professionally known as the Trump Whisperer, who was clearly good at that. Bring in Mandelson, you go, well, what? How could Mandelson have such a strong relationship with Trump? And then you think, well, to be fair, they may well have been on the island together at the same time, so that might be why they get on.
There is that possibility. Yeah, it's like Trump Whisperer, you're done, pedo Whisperer, get warmed up, you're coming on.
Yeah.
So certain Labour MPs, look, quite a few backbenchers now starting to talk. And Richard Bergen, friend of the show. But look, everything I say about Richard Bergen comes with a caveat. I don't think he's the greatest political thinker we've ever had of our time, but he's certainly on the harder left, a figure that people listen to. And he said, now you might think that he'd come out and say Starmer's got to go now, but I think somewhat strategically, he said that Starmer, if things go badly at the local and Scottish elections in May 2026, then maybe he's got to go. Now you sort of think, well, that seems quite long range, but then you go, but he definitely will do badly in those elections. So what Richard Bergen has effectively said, it's not well, let's see how it goes. It's right, that's the date that we get rid of Keir Starmer. And it's quite smart because it's a pin in the map. And it's like, right, let's get our shit together by May 2026 and get rid of him.
So, in terms of predicting the events that are coming, because I'm kind of with you, like following the Rayner thing, following this that's going on with Mandelson now, the Trump bit's going to go badly. There's nothing good coming up for Starmer, which is like an easy win for him. Do you think we go into the summer, he struggles in those elections, and we get a leadership contest with someone taking over from him? Do you think there's any risk of some kind of general election over next year? I don't
think they'll have a general election. They've got too big a majority and they're not obliged to do it. The Tories change leaders so many times. But I think that the problem for the people on the left is that Andy Burnham is the best placed in terms of profile to take over. But he says he don't want it, but he materially wouldn't be as different, right? He's again from the centre left, so maybe they're giving themselves time to pick. Because I would think if I was a like hard left Labour MP, what I'd be thinking is this might be our last chance for a while to do a bit of socialism, right? It's probably never going to happen again. We got 170 seat majority. It's like we could do 3 years of proper scorched earth socialism. You know what I mean? Get all the millionaires, get all the millionaires out, not just some of them. So let's give ourselves enough time to do it. And that's where the weird thing is with Starmer. It's like I think he's very poor, but equally I can also see that if he does go, the alternatives might be worse. And just
all of the alternatives are worse. All of them are worse.
All of them are worse.
I kind of disagree with you on Burnham, because I think the thing is, as much as he's centre left and Starmer's centre left, a lot of the sort of like tidy, like unspoken centre left things that Starmer's done haven't been that bad. But it's when he starts trying to drift towards like right wing stuff that he feels unconvincing, and that's where it's failed. If someone just came in and did centre left, but actually just did it properly, stuck to it, and didn't tweet about migrants 4 times a day, I think they would actually just get on along with people.
Well, you'd have a sense of some consistency. And speaking of consistency, it's really weird with the press have taken a long time to come around to the fact that Starmer might be a bit shit, right? Because the centrist press were like, he's our guy, grown-ups are in the room, hate the Tories, all that stuff. With Starmer, I was sort of thinking, when was he good? Like, under Corbyn, he, seemed to turn a blind eye to certain things to do with anti-Semitism. He wasn't as vocal maybe as he could have been, continued to serve in that government. He would say, well, it's better to be there to influence people, but still, though, there's questions asked about that, right? Then becomes leader. He struggles to get any cut through whatsoever until Partygate. Then that just lands in his lap. And then, the lawyer tells off the liar for a year. And, he did that quite well. But, how could you not? And then in the election campaign, it's basically the win is an inheritance. It's almost like a trust fund baby, the Labour Party under Starmer. They get given this win because the Tories kept fucking machine gunning their own legs off, right? So in the election campaign, he's a bit shit. In all the debates, he's a bit shit. He's shown poor judgment in government. People are acting like he's wildly changed. I actually think he's been pretty consistent.